I've been becoming more and more aware that when a trauma occurs or the death of someone you love that's very close to you, a lot of times a part of a person's soul leaves with that loved one or gets tucked away when the trauma is occurring. In a way, it's a way that our spirit saves itself by sending a part of our soul away where it could be safe. But then after the trauma or after the loss of someone we love that's very close to us, um, there's no help, there's no awareness around the need to bring that part or how to bring that part, retrieve that part of the soul that was lost through the trauma or the loss of someone close to us. And for tens of thousands of years, original people, shamanic societies knew this was the way the spirit worked, and that after a loss or a trauma, they needed to work with that person to call back the part of their soul that was lost. And yet now in our society, there's just no acknowledgement of it for the most part. And people are walking around without parts of themselves. And so when I'm working with someone, I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the people that tune in for this spiritual awareness that it's nothing new. It's been happening since the beginning of humanity. That when something traumatic happens, the soul might temporarily leave the body and leave parts of itself somewhere in the spirit world that need to be retrieved. Or when someone that one loves dies, a part of the soul goes with that person's the love is so deep, or the soul contract is so deep, or there's a desire to make sure that person's soul safely transitions. But we need to call those pieces back to ourselves so that we can fully live. We're still in a physical body. The trauma is in the past, hopefully. The loss immediately becomes in the past, and we need to call those pieces of our soul back to ourselves. And the way that that's been done for thousands of years is through shamanic journeying. And there is a process of either going into the underworld or the overworld, depending on what the situation is, to reclaim that part of the soul. And I think this is valuable to everyone, even if you don't experience the truth that you've lost a piece of your soul through some trauma or loss of a deceased loved one. There's people in your life that have, and you'll notice that they're different after that occurs, that they aren't quite the same. And certainly our life molds us. Our experiences change us, but when our experiences change us to the extent that our soul's not present fully in our body, then we have options to go reclaim that. And the way I see it when I'm leading someone in this process is that if it's a trauma, then they get led down into the underworld and have a spirit helper that helps us go find where this piece of the soul is and bring it back to them and breathe it into their heart and into their crown so they can be whole again. And if it's a loss of a deceased loved one, that they travel into the overworld to connect with that soul that's in the threshold and communicate with them and receive that bit of their soul back into their heart as it flows from the one they love back into their heart. And then they may even need to give a piece of that person's energy that's still here, held by that person, back to the soul that's deceased, so the soul can actually have options. So that's just something to consider on this Tune In Tuesday. There's been a lot of loss in the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know anybody that hasn't known multiple people that have exited the planet at any age for many reasons. And being aware of this soul loss and need to call the soul back is really important for all of us in society so we can support each other. So have a blessed week.